Hello, welcome to another Ants Rants video. With this one, I want to talk about common sense. Uh, over the last, well, I don't want to say last anything, but as an adult, mostly, I've noticed this as a teenager as well, but mostly as an adult, I've noticed that many people don't seem to have common sense. And what I've learned is that generally common sense is taught mostly. Um, I believe a lot of people are under the impression that common sense is supposed to come naturally to people, but it's more so supposed to be taught. That's my belief anyway. It's supposed to be taught, and a lot of people aren't taught. Like, for example, this is something that's come up a couple of times with like coworkers or whatnot, but like the term or the abbreviation ATM stands for automated teller machine. And so if you abbreviate it to ATM, you wouldn't have to say ATM machine because the machine's already within the abbreviation there. So you would just say ATM instead of ATM machine because it's redundant saying it like that. That would be considered to me something that's common sense. However, not a lot of people would have that common sense unless they're taught that, is what my belief is about it. That's kind of a basic example I can put out that I can think of right off the top of my head. An example that I can give in terms of my own personal life, while growing up, no one really taught me to wash behind the back of my neck while taking a shower or bath or whatever. I've been taking a shower since I was like 6, 7 years old. But no one's really taught me you need to wash behind the back of your neck. And it wasn't until, and I'm honestly a little bit embarrassed to admit this, but it wasn't until I was about 18 or 19 that I realized, because I started at that time, actually before then, I was around 16 is when I started wearing collared shirts. Around 18, I believe it was, I started noticing that the back of my collars would be very dirty. And I wouldn't understand it because I would shower every day. And it wasn't until about 18 or 19 that I realized that the back of my collar is so dirty because I wasn't washing the back of my neck. And I felt embarrassed about it then when I realized that, and I'm feeling embarrassed about it now while I'm admitting it on this video. And it was because no one ever taught me that. But that's something that you would think that is something that's common sense, that if you're taking a shower, of course you would think to wash the back of your neck, but that's not really something that I really thought of because it wasn't taught to me. I would do every other part of my body, wash my hair with shampoo, wash my face, neck, the front of my neck, arms. I would go down to, my armpits and everywhere else that I can reach. And then I even had at one point one of those long stick things with the brush, or lather the brush up with soap and then do my back. But it never occurred to me until about 18 or 19 to do the back of my neck. I don't know why. And it wasn't until I realized that my collars were getting dirty because I wasn't doing that. Anyway, common sense is mostly for the most part taught. There are certain situations like the example that I just gave where you can use common sense or use critical thinking to have something that's common sense to be learned, or use your thought process. And I guess I'm kind of also saying that to say, well, most people that I've seen don't seem to have common sense, but also two, don't seem to have critical thinking. Critical thinking, especially because, with my job that I have, I'm dealing with a lot of people. A lot of people don't tend to have critical thinking abilities, at least with the people that I talk to. And it's like, I'll say something and they'll be like, well, what do you mean? Why? Or why not? Or how am I supposed to do that? Or whatever. Whatever the case may be, I'm just like, to me, it would stand to reason if you're using critical thinking, you would know why or why not or how to or whatever. And a lot of people tend to seem to want other people to do stuff for them or hold their hands and whatnot. So, it could either be a lack of critical thinking, a lack of common sense. It could be laziness. I don't know. Anyway, that's my little ranting on that particular subject. You got a little bit more insight about me, even though that was a little bit embarrassing to admit. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and leave it there. Go ahead and leave a comment on what you think about, common sense and how you feel about the subject. I'm interested in hearing people's thoughts about that. Anyway, that out of the way, thank you for watching. I'll catch you on the next one. Deuces, my juices.